Hi there everybody, Ollie here, aka Secret Embers here with another episode of Magic Duels Origins. So for today's Friday night Magic deck tech and gameplay, we're going to be starting off with an old favourite of mine, which is the Eldrazi mono green ramp deck. So we're going to go through the deck today, and we're then going to play some games. So to start off with, we've got the Great Creeper Vine, just to ensure that we're actually hitting all our land drops. It allows us to search for one of those elusive forests. We've got an Elvish Visionary, which allows us to draw a card either early game or late game, which is quite nice. Also provides fodder for Evolutionary Leap. I'm not sure if Evolutionary Leap is going to be staying in this deck, because there are other ramp cards that I want to put in this deck, which actually makes it almost kind of obsolete. So yeah, this is question mark whether or not this is going to stay in here long term. We've got Nissa, just because, again, she gets us a land draw, and then potentially later on, once she flips into a Planeswalker form, we then get to draw cards or potentially finish off the game with some 6/6 elemental lands. Got a Reclamation Sage to deal with any enchantments that our opponent has, especially with the expansion, which has introduced a whole slew of new enchantments as well. Unnatural Aggression, this is in here as a filler card. I don't think it's going to stay, but it's just nice as a kind of an individual removal card which occasionally comes up. Natural Collection, only got one of these at the moment, but this is actually quite important. This is one of the new key ramp cards, so basically what we can do is search my library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield tap. So this, along with Nissa's Pilgrimage, are one of the two kind of key 3-mana ramp cards. So I think as soon as I've got the other 3 copies of this will be going into the deck, just to ensure that we've got like kind of 8 lots of ramp. Another card which I probably want more of is the Eyeless Watcher. So when it enters the battlefield, you get to put 2 1/1 colourless Eldrazi Psalm creature tokens onto the battlefield, and they basically allow me to add an extra mana to my mana pool, so a good ramp card. Again, with From the Beyond, only got one copy of this at the moment, but this basically allows you to keep putting 1/1 Eldrazi Psalm creature tokens onto the battlefield at the beginning of my turn, and I can also then sacrifice it late game to find an Eldrazi of my choice as well, so it would be good for finding Ulamog or a similar overpowered Eldrazi. One Vuli Acid Moss, again another ramp card, and it also allows us to stall our opponents out at the same time. So this is like a double whammy. It allows us to ramp and to kind of slow down our opponents. We've got Outland Colossus, so the first of our fatties in the deck. So this is the cheapest at 5 mana, but it's got the potential to become a 6/6, and it can then be blocked by one creature at the same time. So it's pretty cool, kind of like taking out individual creatures, forcing your opponent to only block with one creature at a time. We've got Woodland Bellower. It's just a nice big creature, and also essentially allows us a second draw for finding the Reclamation Sage as well. Or even if we've already played Reclamation Sage, you can use it to just find a Gate Creeper Vine or a... what are they called? Elvish Visionaries, that's what I'm looking for. What else have we got? We've got one copy of Guy's Revenge. So we're going up in price here, so we've gone to 5 to 6 to 7 mana. So you drop this, swing for a huge 8 damage, can't be countered, and can't be the target of non-green spells or ability. One of the new Battle for Zendikar cards, Plated Crusher, so a 7 mana again another 7 mana creature, 7 mana 7/6 with trample and hexproof. So it's difficult to get rid of with spells, and you can just use it to kind of like walk all over your opponent. And this is Revelation. Now this is a nice card in this deck, so basically you're easily going to get 7 mana most of the time with this deck. So what you can do with this is scry 5, then reveal the top card of my library. So you choose a really huge creature if you find it, and then what you get to do is draw cards equal to its power and gain life, which is kind of useful because you're probably going to have taken quite a bit of damage with this deck early game, just because it's slow compared to something like a rush deck. So you want to get that life gain and draw some cards. Breaker of Armies, I at least want one or two more of the copies that I'm yet to unlock in this deck. This one's great for clearing an opponent's board. It's essentially a huge board clear, because basically what happens, you swing with Breaker of Armies and everything that has to block it does so. It's got 10 damage, so you can wipe out like huge swathes of creatures using just this one card, which is kind of insane. Eldrazi Devastator, 2 copies of this at the moment. It's just a bigger 8 mana Eldrazi with trample with an 8/9 power and toughness. Then we've also got the 2 copies of the Desolation Twin, which is the maximum we're allowed. This is insane, this card. For 10 mana, we get 2 10/10 Eldrazis, and that is just complete bonkers. Completely crazy. What I'm missing at the moment from this deck is Ulamog. Ulamog would be great for this deck. I just haven't got it unlocked yet, but it will be going in as soon as I have it unlocked. In terms of the mana base, we've got Forests, 19 of them. Foundry of the Consoles, this is great because it's just a colourless land, but what it does, it actually summons Thopters, which we can use as Evo Leap bait, as blockers against an opponent's creatures, because we're not going to have too many creatures down at any one point, and because it can also help deal with any kind of like flying opponents that we want to block. And then finally, we've got a couple of copies of Rogue's Passage to give us the ability to force through damage with like our big Eldrazi creatures. Okay, that's the deck. That's some games. Let's go play. Okay guys, so for game number 1 we're playing, let me have a look at this. This is actually perfect in terms of the curve, because we've got the Gatecreeper Vine to get us our 3rd mana drop, we've got the Nissa's Pilgrimage, we've also got the Evo Leap, and then we've got a big card to play later on as well. So we're playing Medic is Dead. Interesting name, but he started off with an Evo Leap, and he's a blue deck, so that could be interesting. So obviously just start off with a forest of our own. Ooh, we've actually managed to find a From Beyond as well. So at the moment we're curving out pretty much perfectly. We've got Gatecreeper Vine into Nissa's Pilgrimage into From Beyond. So we're pretty much ramping pretty well here, which is quite nice. We're playing blue-black, so I'd expect some kind of new Eldrazi deck. So there's a lot of blue-black Eldrazi creatures to like make an interesting deck with. So I'm suspecting that's probably what he's doing here. We're going to get that 3rd mana, although we did draw into it anyway with the Rogue's Passage, but it's nice just to filter our deck down, so we've got the potential to draw into some better cards that we need. Okay, so we've played another black, so yep, we've got Eldrazi, so we've got Eldrazi Skyspawn. So it's 2/1 Eldrazi flying, and when it enters the battlefield, it gets to put an Eldrazi Scion token onto the battlefield as well, so it's interesting. So I think we'll play out a forest here, and then we shall play out our Nissa's Pilgrimage. So at the moment he's going to be swinging for 2 damage in the air every turn, which is fine. We're going to sift 2 more mana out of our deck. We'll be playing From Beyond next turn to get us our own Eldrazi Scion creatures. And then potentially, I don't know what we're going to do after that. We might be able to get Plated Crusher down after that. Do I want to block the 0/2? I think I do. I don't know if he's got some kind of pump in this deck, but we'll block the 1/1 going through and just take the 2 damage. Okay, looks like we might actually be playing Eldrazi Mill, which could be a new interesting archetype. Kind of synchronising up the milling from the Sphinx's tutelage with the ingest of some of the Eldrazi creatures could be an interesting mechanic. Oh, excellent, we've actually managed to find another ramp card. What I'm going to do this turn is play the forest, and I think we're going to play out the From Beyond, just because that's going to allow us to ramp every single turn. So next turn we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we could actually get Plated Crusher down next turn. We're going to lose 2 cards here. What do we lose? We lost an Eldrazi Devastator and a Forest and a Reclamation Sage. Ouch. That's painful. Because we're monocoloured, Sphinx's Tutelage is actually pretty damaging for us. So we lost Outland Colossus, Reclamation Sage, Forest and an Eldrazi Devastator. And I get to be milled even more here. So yeah, mono green ramp is suddenly not looking very good against ramp here. Wow, we lost 6 cards there. That's insane. Whoa. We lost quite a bit there. So we lost Monvuli Acid Moss, Nissa's Revelation, Nissa's Pilgrimage. Wow, and I've lost my Reclamation Sage, so I can't even deal with the Sphinx's Tutelage. So I've basically got to hope that I can just kind of like smash this guy to pieces before he can stop me, basically. So we need to drop Plated Crusher down ASAP. So he's going to swing with both of these. I'm going to block the 1/1 again because, you know, why would he even bother swinging with it? But hey ho. So yeah, we need to kind of just like smash this guy to pieces before he can mill me down too fast, because otherwise we are in a really bad situation. Okay, so we get the Scion creature. We get to play a land, and then at least we've got some life gain with the Nissa's Revelation, although I don't really want to draw that many cards, so I'm going to play this out now because we need to start smacking him for damage ASAP. We can even force it through with the Rogue's Passage as well, which is quite nice. We probably want to like kind of take out some... So this could be devastating here. How many cards am I going to lose? Oh, thank God for that. I only lost 2. So we lost a Breaker of Armies and a Foundry of the Consoles. So he's playing a Salvage Drone. It's like, I don't even want to draw cards right now just because it's basically going to mill me down faster. So I almost just want to... So if I'm not dead in 3 turns, what I'm tempted to do is just keep pushing through Rogue's Passage on the 7/6 and just smash him in the face, because in 3 turns he should be dead. And if I can outlast 3 turns, I should be okay here. So we get another Scion creature. which is nice. Get a Desolation Twins. So how much mana have I got right now? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm tempted just to... actually, the way I'm looking at this, because I've had these problems where I've like tried to activate this ability and it's accidentally used this ability. So what I found is actually better to right click on it, give this now give this the ability to not be blocked. So we're going to go swing with the 7/6 like so. There we go. So do I play out the Elvish Visionary? Not really. I want to leave this. I'm going to risk it for a biscuit and hope that he can... I don't think he can do too much damage to me. He's more likely trying to mill me here. And I think because he's not got no fogs, I should be okay here. I can just push through damage with the Plated Crusher for the next 2 turns because he can't remove it with spells, which is nice for me as well as it's got hexproof. So I think we should win here just because of the fact I've got the Rogue's Passage with the Plated Crusher. And I don't think he can do enough damage over the next 2 turns himself, especially with my blockers as well, to actually then... take me out essentially. So I think I might be alright here because like I said, 2 turns he's dead and I don't think he can kill me either through health or through cards in 2 turns. I've also got the Nissa's Revelation to... So we've got here then adverse conditions, tap up to 2 target creatures. Okay, so he's done that. And then he also gets to put a Scion creature token onto the board, so he's swinging with Nissa, Liliana even, sorry. So he's just swinging with Liliana. Interesting. Like I said, this is hexproof, so you can't really do anything interesting here. I've just realised that Liliana could screw me over here. So I do need to play an extra blocker for that in case he's got the ability to tap even more. So let's start off with the Rogue's Passage. I'm really glad hexproof doesn't count for... only counts for me and not for him. Only counts for him and not for me. So yeah, I need to play at least 1 more Elvish Visionary here as an extra blocker, just in case you can tap 2 creatures again. Do they untap? Don't untap during the controller's next untap step. So yeah, I really did need to grab that. We also got an Eldrazi Devastator, so I do get milled down to 23, so I lost another 2 cards there. But unless he's got another one of those adverse conditions, well, what's this then? So draw 2 cards. So this shouldn't mill me down in theory. And he definitely doesn't have 14 damage on the board. So I think I just won here. Because I can block Liliana, although... I just realised he'll go back up to 8 here. Damn, if I can survive the next 2 turns, I think. So he's got Jace. So I get down to 29. This is going to be cutting it real close, guys, because this won't do enough damage because of Liliana now. Ugh, that's really sucky. 1 damage short, I think. Unless I just happen to get another Rogue's Passage, maybe? I don't know, but... basically, he can just swing with Liliana now, and he gets 2 health, which is kind of frustrating. So yeah, there's no point even... do I block here? Prevent damage going through to my face, I think, would be a good idea. So I'm going to block you because you've got Ingest. Actually, let me block... come on. Let me block you because you've also got Ingest, so I don't really want to lose even more cards. So he goes back up to 8. And he's just lost a Reeve Soul. Okay, so I'm being milled down even more here. What can he play from his graveyard? Is he just like -2 Jace or something like that? I think he did. I think... oh my god. Yeah, I think I'm dead here, guys. Because of Liliana. Like, 1 damage out here. That is really quite frustrating. I don't think I've got anything which would help. Like, I think the only thing which would help me here would be something like... I don't even think Gaia's Revenge would help, just because it doesn't have, like, Trample or anything like that. 1 damage. I don't believe that. 1 damage short. just because of Liliana and her life gain ability. We would have won otherwise. Don't know why I decided to -2 that one. It's interesting. So yeah, I don't think there's any other way of me boosting Plated Crusher here. And he's just brought back a salvage drone. So yeah, this is really sucky because, like I said, I don't think there's any way for me to push through the last of the damage because I'm 1 damage short basically. I'm fairly sure there's no way of me pushing through the damage. Unnatural Aggression would have been great to have taken out Liliana earlier before she could have done that, but yeah, I think this is a bust. We can't actually win, so yeah, that's concede. That's really annoying. Like I said, I'm 1 damage short here, unfortunately, so I can't actually push this through. As much as I'd like to be able to win, I don't think I can. No, this is a loss. So yeah, that's a shame. 1 damage short. Okay guys, here we are for game number 2. We're playing Eckley for our second game of today. So hopefully we can do a bit better on this one. I'm keeping this hand as we have Evo Leap, got Nissa's Pilgrimage and the Gatecreeper Vine and the Wooden Bella as well. So yeah, turns out Ramp is pretty devastating against this deck. I had no idea how bad I was going to face. I completely hadn't twigged the fact that because I'm playing a monocolored deck, Sphinx's Tutelage is just completely devastating to it. Hopefully we're not playing more. No, Welkin Turn doesn't imply that he's playing Mill. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Mill. Maybe some kind of I don't know. We'll drop the Rogue's Passage here just because we need, put any kind of land down. We'll save the Foundry of the Consoles for later. Could possibly sacrifice it to provide a blocker for Welkin Turn later on. So we're going to grab that second forest so we can play Nissa's Pilgrimage next turn. And then we're doing 1 Vuli Acid Moss turn 4. Let's keep up the ramp. Pardon me if you heard that, guys. Had a big dinner. Okay, that's interesting. Thornbow Archer. Not entirely sure where this guy is going with this deck. Also got a telling time coming through. When he finally, does something. Come on. There we go. He was probably just deciding what he wanted to keep there. So I'm guessing he will swing with the Welkin Turn. Yep, he did. So we take 2 damage, go down to 18. So it's not the end of the world right now. We could potentially kill it later on with the Foundry of the Consoles. Okay, we've got another mana, so we shall Nissa's Pilgrimage this turn. Let's carry on the ramp, so grab 2 lands. 1 goes onto the battlefield, 1 goes into our hand. So at least we're not facing ramp this turn. This game is quite nice. We do have the Desolation Twin. I really want to get this down because it's just ridiculous, this card. 20 damage with 1 card. I know it costs 10 mana, but when you're playing a ramp deck like this, you can quite happily get 10 mana quite nicely. Necromantic Thirst. So enchant creature. Whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. That's interesting. That was really weird there. So I take 1 damage. Block that one like so. Come on. So yeah, I could do with getting my Foundry of the Consoles down soon, just so I can then potentially summon the Thopters to defend against that one. So I think maybe I want to put it down now. And then we'll Foundry of the Consoles one of his Guild Gates. Yeah. Not Foundry, Monruli Acid Moss one of his Guild Gates. Sorry. That's Foundry of the Consoles. So we're slowing down back to 3 mana. I do like the fact that you can actually zoom in on all manas now, which is quite nice. So it's always nice to have a look at the artwork when you're bored. Okay, we've got Battle Gnomes. Interesting. So I guess he's going to swing with the 2-1 and the 1-1. So we go down by another 3 health here. So I probably want to get Foundry of the Consoles out next turn to deal with the Welkin Turn. So we take 2 more damage there, we're going to 12. But like I said, this should be the last time we take damage from Welkin Turn, just because we can then summon the Thopters from the Foundry of the Console. Again, why it's in this deck. Little tip from Legend VD there, another YouTuber. So I think we want to, like I said, with these cards now, it's best to right click on them and actually manually sacrifice it there. Because like I said, you always get the problem where it doesn't seem to play nice by clicking on it here, because otherwise you run the risk of adding it to your mana pool rather than actually tapping it. So I'd recommend with the Rogue's Passage and the Foundry of the Consoles, right click on them rather than actually kind of zooming in and clicking on and left clicking on them. So it just allows you to select the ability a lot easier without accidentally misclicking and adding mana to your mana pool, which you don't actually need or want. Okay, so he's now swinging with the 1-2. Interesting. So we can block you. So we're going to block you like so. We take 1 damage, so we're to basically take 1 more damage there. But we should be able to get Woodland Bellower down and then kill the Battle Gnomes, I think. And then we'll be only a couple of turns away from getting Desolation Twin at some point. We've got Gatecreeper Vine to find us another mana. And now it's Visionaire to draw a card, potentially. Okay, so we'll drop the Forest. I think we'll drop Woodland Bellower here, so let's make sure we don't use Rogue's Passage. I don't know why, I just need to, like, later on, it's always important to double check that. So we shall say yes. We shall then grab the Rec Sage. We'll destroy the 1-3. There we go. We'll skip attack, just because we want to save these open as blockers for the Welkin turn. So now we've got something that can actually, you know, kill the 1-2s along with the Rec Sage as well. Although they won't actually be doing any damage to my face anymore because we now control an elf. The special ability of this thing doesn't actually work. So it's an interesting deck he's playing here. I don't really think it's got any kind of like focus to it, which is kind of weird. Unless it's kind of like basic. It's quite a basic deck. We've got DD. You've been unlocked from packs, but you're all fairly basic cards. So I think we're just going to swing with the Woodland Bellower here, maybe? Yeah, we're just going to swing with that. See if he blocks with anything. So I've got the Eldrazi Devastator to come down next, so I don't really mind throwing this one away. It was more just to get the Rec Sage out and destroy that artifact. So is he going to block? Did he lose health somewhere? I was wondering why he didn't gain the life from... Oh, if he sacrifices it himself. Okay, that's interesting. So we're going to play the Eldrazi Devastator. There we go. So we get a nice 8-9 Eldrazi down. So that's our first Eldrazi played on camera for you guys. So we swing with the 2-1 and the 1-2. And the other 1-2. And the other 2-1. So, interesting. So it doesn't deal any damage with the 1-2s to us. So we're just going to kill you, kill you, kill you, and kill you. So we lose some of our creatures, but I don't really care right now because we have the Eldrazi Devastator and the Woodland Bellower to come down. So I think I was more of just a, yeah, I know I've lost, I'm just going to throw everything away kind of thing. So we're just going to swing with, everything here and for the win, I believe. So awesome. That went pretty well. The second game, won quite nicely that time. Bit of a challenge dealing with the Welkin turns, but we got there eventually. Okay, guys, so that is a win to start off. That is a win, finally. So I think we've got enough gold to open up a pack as well, which we shall do to finish off with. Come on, we're hoping for Ulamog right now. Ulamog is the only card I actually want at the moment. Every other card is superfluous, at least for another week until I start building a new deck. So let's open up the booster. Ulamog, Ulamog, Ulamog. No, we've got Drowner of Hope. So when Drowner of Hope enters the battlefield, put 2 1/1 colourless Eldrazi style creature tokens onto the battlefield. Got my final Plated Crusher, so at least that's fully unlocked. Firemantle Mage for an ally deck. Incubator Drone, so for a blue-black Eldrazi deck. Voracious Null, sacrifice another creature, put 2 1/1 counters on Voracious Null. Activate its ability when you can activate a sorcery, so that would be good for a sacrifice deck. So maybe a potential other sacrifice deck card. We've also got Boiling Earth, so deals 1 damage to each creature your opponent controls, and we've got Awaken on it as well. Okay, so that is the end of the episode for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck. Apart from that, where am I going with this? If you don't forget to comment and like if you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.